And welcome to the Casual Nerdcast.
On like one of those like car things where it's like.
You
Was
were
it flappy inflatable bouncing tube man?
Yeah.
all right. I am your host Justin, and joining us for tonight is Andrew.
So I don't think there's actually a name for that thing, like the flappy thing.
I think there is. I've seen it around and stuff.
Wrong.
I have no idea what that's
That's a
called.
car salesman thing.
All right, Emil.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Yeah.
And Evan.
Fucking waving inflatable flame, two man. Wah! Mess that up. Wah! Okay.
Evan alone is selling our podcast. All right, you guys ready?
No.
No.
I'm here to have educated discussions about
Alright.
video games.
About wacky waving inflatable arm flailing two men.
Can we
No,
please
but
buy one
that's-
for our podcast?
I'm
Just have it running in the background.
I'm gonna
Evan is the
rename my
wacky
skin
wave.
to this. I have
Alright.
to.
All right,
Alright,
so.
take it away, Justin, before we go off the deep end.
All right, to start us off, we will be talking about Assassin's Creed. So, is 2 Assassin's Creed's games too much for this year? If you've been living under a rock and you have no clue what I'm talking about, so Assassin's Creed
If you're
Unity.
if you're Patrick the Star.
If you're Patrick Star.
Patrick
Patrick,
Or
this
if
one's for you.
Don't like bad games.
Yo, he's got a cool rock.
the hammer has been. Oh man. Oh man. The gauntlet.
Whoosh.
What is happening to Assassin's Creed, Justin? I do not know.
So,
Please explain.
Assassin's Creed Unity was debuted, I guess you can say, at E3. Well, it was kind of leaked earlier this year, but it was pretty much heavily shown at E3. And it's going to be available for PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. About a few weeks later, there was a leaked trailer, which then showed allegedly a trailer for Assassin's Creed, what they would be called Rogue. And literally the next day, Ubisoft was like, yep, okay, they leaked it, so now we have to confirm it. So here we go. 2 Assassin's Creeds for this year, except Rogue is available for the previous gen, Xbox 360 and PS3. So before we have this discussion, let's get a rough idea of how much Assassin's Creed you guys have played, and let's get a rough idea of how much you care. So, Andrew, how much you care about this?
Here's the thing. Like, I want to like the series. I played like a good 4 or 5 hours of one. I played like an hour or two of 2. I hated it. I skipped all the way. I'm playing through a little bit of 4 right now, but even now I'm still kind of like, there are other things I'd rather be doing. I don't know why. I think it just doesn't click with me.
All right, Emma,
But
what
I
about
played
you?
a lot.
I would never, in my wildest dreams, say that Assassin's Creed is like a timeless classic. Though there's definitely a part of it that is, you have to have played it when it came out, especially like Assassin's Creed 2 and stuff. Anyways, Emil.
Emil?
Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and I've read way too much lore, but I haven't played anything beyond Revelations.
Wow. Evan?
Yep, yeah.
What about you, Evan? How much have you invested in Assassin's Creed?
I've played pretty much all of them. Like there was a DS version which I didn't play. Like any of the really
DS
stupid.
version?
Liberation, wasn't it?
No,
No,
the
that
version was,
was
PlayStation.
Yeah, that was for Vita.
Yeah, Vita.
There was like a side-scrolling like DS version which I didn't play. But yeah, I played all the ones that matter, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
It was like the back history of Altair, and then there was also a PSP. No, the PSP version was the history of Altair.
Right.
You met the woman you loved and stuff. I don't know. I played most of them. I like the series, but I've definitely it's a love-hate relationship I have. I love it when it's things like Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed 4, but it really kills me when things like Assassin's Creed 3 are released. And yeah, I don't know. And then what was the second question?
Yeah, so how do you guys feel about this? I mean, it's honestly a lot of people have been saying it's good, it could be bad. I don't know. What do you guys takes on the fact that they're releasing two full-fledged games but for different consoles, but at the same time they're literally a week apart from each other?
So, I wouldn't mind this if it literally wasn't, if because is Assassin's Creed Unity coming out for PS3 and Xbox 360?
No.
No.
So I wouldn't mind. I guess that kind of makes it a little alright in my mind, but I just don't see why they aren't doing another, say, Vita game or something, right?
Because only 6 people own one.
I know, but this is just another one of
I'm
those
one
reasons.
of those people.
So am I. So am I. It's just this is one of those reasons why I kind of hate Ubisoft, where I feel like they do a shotgun approach to a lot of their game development, where they just kind of release as many games as possible, and a couple of them will get bought. I mean, this is Assassin's Creed, so it'll get bought like hotcakes. But it honestly makes me worry about these two games, because then I feel like, not enough focus was put onto one game, so it's kind of the quality is going to kind of be split.
Well, here the way I see it, Unity is like it's a game that's kind of built from the ground up. As far as I'm aware, Unity is under a 3-year development cycle, like completely new engine.
They said that about Assassin's Creed 3.
It's true, but if you've actually looked at the two games though, Unity looks different in comparison. Rogue feels like an iteration of Black Flag, whereas Unity actually does feel like, the next level of Assassin's Creed.
To an extent.
Dude, yeah, well, I mean, obviously to an extent. There are some things that you can do in Unity that definitely was not able to do back in previous Assassin's Creed.
Well, they've kept it consistent where you can't create female characters.
Yeah.
That is true.
I'm sorry. This is the episode of Evan rips on Ubisoft, because there's so much to rip on. Anyways.
Yeah. But
You like all the
it
others?
looks good. Unity, like, I'm not saying like it looks fun. It looks fun too, kind of. But like it looks good. The way or the animates, I don't know, it looks good. Like I want to love this, but every time I try, I'm like, what? Like this guy's running up a wall, and I accidentally press X at the wrong time, and he just jumps off. Or like freaking, oh, we're space people. You got a Desmond, blah blah blah. I have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why Assassin's Creed 4 was kind of a high point in the series, was because it very much got rid of a lot of that stuff. Right? Like especially like a lot of the space people and stuff that you were referring to. It just kind of it basically just focused in on a lot of the good points of Assassin's Creed.
By space people, do you mean the gods?
Yeah.
Just the early civilization.
Well, they did make an appearance.
I guess spoiler alert.
Oh, spoilers to the story the only other story that makes less sense is freaking Metal Gear Solid.
Hey. Hey.
So
Hey, I love
Got my eye on you.
yeah.
You can't say that series has a nice, easy to understand and straightforward story.
I know.
It's
like
it's
6
God.
hours of cinematics per game.
Yeah.
At least Assassin's Creed is chronological for the most part.
Yeah. Let's go to 2015, then back to 1964, then to 2020, the 1980s.
Shut up. That's not what I meant.
No, no. I meant that's Metal Gear, dude.
Oh.
That's actually a Metal Gear.
I mean, technically, that's also kind of Assassin's Creed because you're in present day, but then you go back in time, but not really.
And
Except
every
you're
single
going
game
back
is
like hundreds of years instead of like 10. But
true.
no, the chronological flow is the same. Yes.
Yes.
So,
But even though Unity looks cool, and it's cool, like the premise of like being on the other side, being a Templar is kind of cool too. I don't know, being like, let's say I'm like, I don't know, 15, 16, 25 or whatever. Like I'm a relatively young person and I love video games, and for some reason I love Assassin's Creed. I'm going to want to get both of them to get the stories, and either time-wise or even money-wise, like that might be a tight squeeze to like
especially
It's a
since it's
short-
coming out in prime release season,
Mhm.
where
Mhm.
everything else anybody could ever want is coming out,
Exactly.
right?
And for the most part, like a lot of people, if they've bought a current gen console, they've probably more or less probably thrown out their previous one to like sell it
Yeah.
off or something. If like budgeting was an issue, and
That's very possible.
yeah, so a lot of
I
people,
guess it kind of feels like a slap in the face to those people.
yeah,
Kind of.
and
To
that
those people.
so like yeah, the issue being with story fragmentation. I actually have a theory going on, and I don't know how likely this would be, but because the timelines are relatively within grasp of each other, I guess you can call it, because one's in the 7 Years' War, the other being the French Revolution.
Yeah.
It's like 30 years apart. I feel like I have a theory that the protagonist of Rogue is going to be the antagonist of Unity. That's just my theory.
I mean, Assassin's Creed is very well known for having stuff kind of meshed together. I mean,
Mhm.
Aveline showed up in a lot of other stuff, right? So it's not out of the question.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how that happens, because it could be like if you play Rogue and it kind of teases Unity, then it's like, oh my god, I want to get Unity so bad now, and
See,
then
but
like
to me that just annoys me even more, because then they're literally releasing a game to sell PS4s to sell you another game.
that's yeah. Well, from a business perspective, it kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
but like at the same time, I do agree. It's kind of annoying because there is still like like what Andrew brought up, story fragmentation,
Well,
and
it's just I feel like I mean Ubisoft is a culprit of this quite a bit, where I mean, I just said this before with like their shotgun approach, right? They release a game to make money instead of releasing a game to make a good game. And I personally was really hoping that Assassin's Creed got off this whole 1 year cycle thing and maybe moved to a 2 year cycle, so that we started getting higher quality. I know, like that's a ridiculous thought of myself, but they literally went ass backwards of what I wanted. It's like, all right, we're just gonna release 2 in 1 year. It's like, no, you're not supposed to double it.
so
Doesn't
like,
work like that.
yeah, they should have spaced it out. Like I probably would have enjoyed it a bit more if Rogue came out in November and then Unity came out in like February or something. Like, something decently apart, so that's like, oh my god, Rogue was amazing, and that leads into Unity. I'm gonna save up as much money as I can now to buy like a new console and like, get Unity or something. Like even that, like it still makes more sense than, first of all, having Unity come out first. If I feel like, well, okay, I don't know if my theory is true, but if it is true, then they're making a wrong move. And if it's wrong, then I don't know why they haven't made that move.
Well, it just based on what you're saying, it kind of feels like this is the Phantom Pain versus
Ground Zero?
Yeah, sorry, Ground Zero, yeah, versus the Phantom Pain, sorry. Where this is, Rogue is kind of, regardless of whether your theory is correct, this does kind of feel like, Rogue feels like a DLC, and then Unity feels like the full-fledged game. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, even when Assassin's Creed 3 came out, Assassin's Creed Liberation came out, which was just kind of a means of, getting you in. But the game was cheaper, it was on a handheld, it didn't feel as sleazy, right? It didn't feel like they were trying to sell you something that was small and compact and not a full game as a full release. I mean, who knows? It might be better than Unity. Who knows? Right? Like, Unity might be the worst of the two. But I have a hard time, based on my previous game knowledge, I doubt that to be true.
Honestly, like, I'm usually a big fan of Ubisoft, but in this scenario, like, I honestly, Rogue just doesn't look impressive. It just looks like an upgrade of Black Flag. It just looks like a reiteration of the same engine they've been using, and it looks like a last money grab for the last year's generation, as much as they can still.
It looks like they're throwing a gimmick on top. It's like, oh, now you get to play as a Templar, and that's so cool, and that's what we're gonna sell you on, instead of selling you on, I don't know, a good game.
Honestly, I am very much excited for Unity, because Unity does look like, the engine does look better. There are some things better about it. The combat mechanic is not as cheap as just counter and stuff, so it's going to be an actual challenge. But Rogue is just, like I said, it's like a +1 Black Flag, and to build on that fact, the entire game is more, well, not the entire game, but there is improved naval combat in that.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I want to play Rogue for the story, but it's just not in my budget to pay $60 for a game that, you know, is clearly still with the last gen engine.
And that's kind of alluding to what Andrew said before, right? Is that it's just like, you know, games have gotten into this idea where every year, a lot of games have gotten into kind of a subscription model without being subscription, right? Like with Call of Duty, if you want to play Call of Duty, you're basically paying $60 a year to play Call of Duty. And it was the same with Assassin's Creed. It's like $60 a year, and then every year you get an update to this story that nobody has any idea where it's going. And this just kind of feels weird, where it's just like, oh, now you're trying to get more money out of me when there's other games coming out, but I want the entire Assassin's Creed experience, so fuck you. Like, I don't. It's really weird, right? And I don't like it. But I've said that a lot already.
It
That
feels
being
like,
said-
yeah. Oh, sorry, Emily, what you want to say?
I was just wondering, what about the plan moving forward, though? If they have 2 this year, and everyone's got to buy them both for the story, what about next year?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be more. Are there going to be 2 more? Are there going to be none? Is there only going to be 1?
And that's what worries me, right?
Yeah.
Is that
I kind of piggybacked it off of your comment earlier. That's when I thought of it.
yeah, it's that could be dangerous. Not that could be dangerous because then Activision or something could get that idea and be like, oh, if they do it, then
You're also forgetting one
can
more
do it.
thing. There's still going to be a season pass for both games, most likely.
Oh, that's true.
So $50, $50, $50, $50. Womp womp.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
also, well, actually, let's make a call on it right now. How many Assassin's Creed games are coming out next year? Call it right now, and then I'm gonna take this clip, and then we're gonna show it to people, and then we'll be like, called it.
To be honest, I think it might still just be 1 because the fact that we're still kind of in a transition period between last gen and now. And I don't know how many teams they have working on Assassin's Creed. Like, for example, like the team that's doing Rogue right now is kind of like their B team. It's Ubisoft Sofia, I think, and they've done mostly ports. Like they did the Liberation HD port. So I don't know how many teams. My guess would be they might make 2. I don't know. I think we'll see 1 full game and like no, you know what? 2 full games.
2 full
Ooh.
games next year. Ooh. Evan?
You know what?
Emily, you're gonna say something?
No, I'll wait for you.
I'm predicting 1 full game and then 1 side game, just because that's what I want. So I'm gonna fucking predict it. That's not what I want.
Define
That's not what I
side
want,
games.
but that's
So
like best case, like a handheld game or a $20 DLC, or like, sorry, not a DLC, but just like a standalone game, kind of like how they made Freedom Cry is standalone now, right?
I think so, yeah.
Wait, so does that mean did they release 4 Assassin's Creed games this year? Because Freedom Cry, Liberation HD, Rogue, and Unity. Did Liberation HD come out this year?
it did in
So.
January, I believe.
So still this year.
That's 4. Oh.
So then you can't even include the mobile releases because they're happening anyway.
Oh god, that just changes. Anyway, I'm expecting 1. I want there to just be like 1 full game and then 1 small game that fills in the side stories, because I think as much as Assassin's Creed 3 was shit, I think that market idea where they had Assassin's Creed Liberation and Assassin's Creed 3 come in, and they both kind of told the different stories of the same stuff and intertwined a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that has the potential to be the best Assassin's Creed experience that we can have, story-wise.
As long as the games
So.
don't suck.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Assassin, it didn't. It shouldn't have sucked. They just literally took a decent game and then put a bunch of shit on top of it. Like, why the hell did the menus? It used to be a radio menu. I hit the trigger, the radio menu comes up in like a split second. But no, in this game, you hit it and it loads for like 3 seconds and then it comes up. Like, who? What did they think? I don't know. Anyways.
Quality
All
control,
right.
man.
All right. Emil, where's your money at?
I'd say it's a toss up between the 2, but I'm leaning more towards Evan. One, because I support his crazy notion that maybe they'll just have one full game and one not so full game.
It's the smarter
And-
option.
And because I'd like to think that I still have a little bit of faith in Ubisoft, even though after Watch Dogs it's kind of all gone.
Oh, I do agree with Andrew though in the fact that I think that this is definitely outcome of there being two full,
Yeah.
like two systems out right now,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Where so next year, I mean, I guess there will be two full systems because the PS2 lasted forever.
15 years or some shit.
Yeah, and it
15.
lasted really long into the PS3 cycle. But
Yep.
so we might see it, but I just hope not. Please, Ubisoft, don't do it. For me, the guy who hates you, don't do it.
Wise.
All right. I'm gonna go on a complete tangent, and I'm gonna say 0.
There's gonna be no games next year.
They're gonna be like, we heard you fans. We're gonna work on the most amazing Assassin's Creed experience of all time. So we're not releasing anything this year.
0 like AAA Assassin's Creed games in 2015.
Correct.
I think you're crazy.
I am
That's
absolutely
all.
crazy, but I will bring this video back and call you all out on it.
I'm gonna take this time to say Justin has probably done inappropriate things to like a Ubisoft executive to get this information. Because I mean he pretty much worships them. We all know that. So
Yeah, that's true. This is gonna be like, I remember when Assassin's Creed 4 actually leaked. But no, it was like this kid. I think he was heading to E3 or something. And he was sitting next to a dude. He was playing Assassin's Creed on his like Vita or something. He's like, hey, do you like Assassin's Creed? He's like, yeah, I really do. I work on the game. Let me show you all this shit. And he like went on NeoGAF. He's like, oh my goodness, there's pirates and everything. And everyone's like, no, we don't believe you. And then it turned out to be true. He's like, I promise. Maybe.
All right, so now let's move away from Assassin's Creed, and now move on to World of Warcraft.
no. Okay.
So Blizzard is increasing World of Warcraft subscription prices in the UK.
Yeah.
From-
Sucks to be you, English people.
From November 13th, monthly subscriptions will rise to $9.99 from $8.99, 3 months for $28.17 from $25.17, and 6 months for $52.14 from $46.14. While the 3-month prepaid cards will retail for $20.99.
One thing to note with this as well is that I think if you have a current subscription, you get to keep it for 2 years. And Blizzard's going to be notifying all players of that. So if you had a WoW subscription and you want to keep that same price, they'll email you being like, hey, I think they're updating this when Warlords of Draenor comes out. So if you subscribe before that, you get to keep the original prices for 2 years, I think. And then you'll be forced to update.
All right. Thoughts on the subscription?
Kind of reminds me of what's it called? Amazon's when Prime had a price hike, they doubled. It's like, oh hey, if you renew now, you can keep it for another 2 years. Just say it.
It's just interesting that it's just in the UK.
Yeah, that I don't get. Maybe they had a new. No, it wouldn't make sense. I was gonna say maybe they had a new law passed, but for what? Paid video games.
I can't even think of what it might be. It's just.
I was going to ask if they said anything, because like I understand prices going up just because of like inflation and other economics mumbo jumbo. So like things going up like $2-3, or I guess pounds.
That's in euros, by the way. That's in euros. So
is it euros or pounds?
Yeah, of course.
You said UK, right?
It might be pounds.
I think it's
Yeah,
pounds in the
they're
UK.
almost the same.
you have the website, so by you I mean just.
Either way, it's like two.
It's
like
pounds.
2 or
It's
3
pounds. It's
units.
pounds.
It's like 2 or 3 pounds,
It's
right?
pounds.
So like that kind of makes sense to me. That is weird that it's just in that, not even like the PAL territory. It's just that one country.
Yeah, maybe they are losing a lot of UK players, and they have servers that are specifically for there, and they're just losing money on it. I don't know. I mean, WoW has definitely been dying recently, so maybe this is really a far-fetched theory, but maybe they're just trying to keep up on their for their losses.
For the
But that doesn't really make sense.
well, for their shareholders, they say,
Yeah, But they still have 7 million people playing.
True.
I think.
Well, a big number.
See,
Not as big as it was. But...
if it were me, I'd instead of like focusing on one country, I'd make small boosts internationally.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to punish one region in particular because now your fan base in that one particular region is going to be reduced. So you have to make like subtle increases everywhere across the board, or even like maybe open to different areas.
It says here that they lost 800,000 people, but their revenue is up. So I don't understand.
Is that Blizzard as a whole's revenue is up, or is that just World of Warcraft?
Blizzard president says the game's annual revenue is up, not down. But WoW makes like 75% of their revenue, or if not more.
That might also just be because like new expansion people.
Horses.
Yeah.
Race horses. Horse armor. $25 horse armor.
You thought Oblivion's $2 horse armor was bad. What were you saying? From the new expansion, it might have pulled people up because we're already in August, so.
Well, I mean like just flat out pre-orders. I don't know, but there's one every year, so.
True.
Yeah.
I guess Reaper of Souls had something to do with it too, because it really brought Diablo back for one.
But they're not really making money off of endgame of Diablo.
No, I mean buying the expansion. It was still another $40-$50, right? 40, I think.
But it's not the company's revenue that's up.
mean,
It's like just on the game alone though.
I wonder. They do have a lot of in-game purchases, like realm transfers and stuff like that. But
yeah, and no, Justin, the president Mike Morhaime says the game's annual revenue. Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah.
I misread that. I apologize.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And I don't know.
Let me just read from the article. We regularly look at our pricing around the world from time to time. We make changes in light of local and regional market conditions. As such, we want to give everyone a heads up that we will shortly be adjusting the pound sterling subscription price for World of Warcraft. So, I don't know what that would mean, I guess.
there's not a lot of information to go off of here. It sucks. I mean, who knows? It might even be what Amel was saying before, like when Amazon Prime got a double price increase, and they're like, "Hey, if you subscribe now, you get to use the cheaper one." So,
You're basically bringing people back that way.
Yeah, so that they can have a cheaper deal.
Yeah.
But for like a single pound a month, that doesn't really make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess there's just not enough information to go off of here. But it does suck for UK players.
So if you live in the UK, we send you our condolences. And we hope that maybe potentially you can survive off of playing less WoW, or maybe move to a
Play WildStar.
free-to-play
Let's play.
MMO.
No. Fuck your free-to-play games. Play WildStar.
Or eat more cup ramen.
Huh.
It's cheap.
While
Well,
playing
not both.
WildStar. Although I guess you need both hands for WildStar, so you can't really just like sit and WoW with like ramen and
Are you sure?
WildStar.
I don't know, man.
I'm sure you need two hands for WildStar because you need to move and jump and dodge.
Yeah, but not if you're playing extra casually. You can do everything with one hand if you're trying hard enough. I'm sorry, I tried too hard there.
There's a will, there's a way.
But subscription increases happen. That's unfortunate, but I have nothing else to say about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Sucks. Next.
All right, more Blizzard news.
Woo!
So, if you have not played Diablo and you plan on not playing Diablo, this doesn't concern you at all. Or it
Right.
could if you are interested.
You could literally say that about any Diablo news, whatever. Like
You can say that
whatsoever.
about any news.
Yeah. If you don't plan on playing if you don't play video games and you don't plan on playing video games, why the fuck are you watching this podcast?
All the ridicule,
Because Evan's pretty.
Hey, we got some Latvia politics news, but if you don't care about it, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, my apologies. So, Diablo 3. They're going to be releasing a new patch, 2.1, and they're basically making the most casual endgame possible into a much more competitive scene. They'll be introducing something called Seasons, where you can periodically start fresh leveling from level 1 and making your way up. For each season, there will be new items, new legendaries kind of thing. You could do a lot of different achievements that will reward you with points, and there'll also be a leaderboard to kind of present you.
The other really important thing to remember too is that this character that you create in Seasons mode, it's kind of like hardcore mode. The character you create in Seasons mode is completely separate from your other stuff, so I don't think he has access to your stash, your gold, your anything, right? So
your Paragon levels or anything. Yeah, it's a completely different set of characters.
Yeah, it's just flat out new. So it's kind of this idea where, like in StarCraft, where every once in a while the ladders reset, and you start.
That's exactly what it is, actually. Yeah.
yeah. Which they're literally implementing like a ladder system that they have in Hearthstone and StarCraft into this, where it's just you work your way up, and see how high you get, and then it gets reset. See how high you get.
Nice part, and I guess sort of like a mixed blessing, is the whole season legendaries, which while they sound fantastic, they do cut out anyone who's not playing in this super crazy competitive mode.
They do come to the normal.
Yeah, like 4 months
Diablo. Once the season's over, all of the season exclusive stuff gets shoved over to normal Diablo.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm assuming most people who play Diablo actively already knew all this, but never hurts to tell like that again, right?
Yeah.
So here's the question. I believe Evan posed this question. Can a season structure thrive in a non-competitive game?
First, you're gonna have to explain that.
Yeah, so like, does it mean like, what do you mean by non-competitive? It's not PvP at all. This hardcore thing?
As far as I'm aware, the only thing PvP is just practice. There is nothing PvP. It's just
Diablo 3 is nowhere near as PvP based as Diablo 2 was.
Yeah.
It's basically like you can go into an area, and then you can do PvP against somebody, but it's more so just for fun.
It's literally called brawling, not even PvP. You punch them to death, and then they come right back. No loss, no nothing.
So the way that this works is it's literally just like, I think it's I don't know what they're ranking you on. Does it say it all?
Yeah. It's basically just doing conquests, which are basically season-only achievements.
So it's just like quests. However many quests you finish in a season will rank you.
Yep.
Right?
Basically.
So you're not actually facing anybody. Literally, somebody could just go off and spend a weekend playing, and they'll burst ahead of you because you didn't play for the weekend.
Does competitive have to mean PvP only? Because you're competing against players for a high score, so to speak, right?
It's the equivalent of like walking into an arcade and trying to beat that.
That's what I was thinking, actually. Yeah, you put your little high score, punch it in.
The big difference about that, though, is with an arcade, for example, if I want to hit the leaderboard on Pac-Man, I have to start from scratch and work my way up in Pac-Man all the time, right? And it requires a large amount of skill to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This, if I shut Diablo off, I still maintain my score, and then it's literally just a time factor.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's very little about actual skill-based gameplay. It's just literally, I put 400 hours into this game, you put 300 into this game, so chances are I'm going to rank higher than you.
So I guess the question more so becomes, can a season structure thrive in a non-skill-based game rather than a non-competitive based game? Because it's still competition. Who has the most time?
Yeah, that's not really a competition.
Very blunt here, obviously.
I mean, the game is still skill-based. I'm not going to say that Diablo isn't skill-based, but
if you want to run T6, you need some skill in addition to gear. Yes.
It's basically just in terms of when I turn Diablo off, my progress is saved. The only times it gets wiped is when the season resets.
Yes. And I'm assuming there's going to be season rewards too, probably? I haven't really read much into that.
Based on it being Diablo, I would hope so.
Right.
But in StarCraft, no. Like, if I get to gold, diamond, or platinum, whatever, it's literally just like an emblem that I get. There's no benefits whatsoever otherwise.
Right.
Just bragging rights.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be the case in Diablo because it's very, very loot focused. So they probably give you like an exclusive or something. But that's besides the point anyway.
I don't think that. I think that Diablo, one of the worst directions that Diablo could go is exclusive loot, like where 3 people own this piece of loot and that's it. I think that's because that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the community aspect of Diablo, right?
And
anyways,
to add on to your point, if you are like competitive based, now you have loot that no one else has, or even maybe it's like a permanent skill boost to your character. Now you're basically even more OP, and you can it's basically winner takes all. the winner
Yeah.
just keeps getting more and more better, and next thing you know, he's just like the same guy who keeps winning every single time.
So I guess let's kind of get back to the general question. Do you think that this can thrive at all? And I mean, Justin and Emily, you guys played Diablo pretty extensively, from what I understand. Are
fair
you
amount, yeah.
are you going to do this, or are you going to continue with your normal mode characters?
I've never been a competitive person. I mostly have moved on to more casual games because I've been trying to escape a more competitive scene.
Likewise.
This has not really interested me much. I might check it out, once or twice. Maybe I'll think about getting into it again. But
Plus, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't like having the idea where, competitive games, like say for instance, like, CS:GO, League of Legends, Dota, etc. You have no saved progression with that. It's all stats,
Yes.
right? Whereas, Diablo is more like an RPG. It's like a journey. You go from point A to point B, and then
You go from point A to point B
again,
and then again from point A to point B.
exactly, over and
from point A to
over
point
again.
B.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's just like, once it gets to competitive, it starts getting repetitive. That's basically the issue I have with the Diablo competitive scene, is that, maybe I would have enjoyed it a bit more if they, say for instance, release like maps that are very don't make us do the story maps. Make us do like a level specifically designed for each season. That might interest
Well, they
me
did
more.
do that. There's like 2 extra levels that are available in Greater Rifts.
Yeah, but that's not exactly what I'm going for. I want everyone to run through the same map, every single time.
Eventually be competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's now it's almost like a racing game. Or maybe,
Sort
or maybe like, to kind of address what Evan is saying with regards to, whoever has the most time, maybe have a level that's designed specifically, and you have to time how fast you can do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like that's one of the high score like arcade things. Is like if it's like a really hard boss.
Yeah.
Boss fight like map and ends in like a really hard boss fight and that's the goal. You gotta complete these, like maybe there's 5, 6, or 7 of them that they released throughout the season.
Yeah, and then now you can use your normal characters in these things too now, because now it's a matter of like tuning your character to fit the need of the map and etc. Because or the situation. So that would be more interesting. It'd be like a racing game, except I'd feel more competitive in that sense, because that actually is heavier on skill and less about who has more time on their hands.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, I'm going to link this a lot to World of Warcraft, right? Because World of Warcraft basically does have this structure now that I think about it. But not to the same degree, where every single expansion is a season, right? And then maybe there's a couple patches in between, which could be like sub-seasons or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that, like Diablo, World of Warcraft, the game really starts when you hit max level.
Yes.
Right? Like the game that I know to be World of Warcraft and the game that you know to be Diablo starts when you hit level whatever it is.
70.
And then when a new expansion comes out, you spend maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 hours leveling up. You get your new skill, you learn how to use your skill, you learn the new mechanics that happen in this expansion, and then you begin again. You begin that grind of, oh, okay, how can I become the best? How can I do this? Right? And I feel like they already have this. I feel like if they just implemented this in normal mode and then just had a consistent thing, and maybe your score reset every time. But to me, it's the fact that my character gets deleted. It's the fact that I have to go through those first 70 levels again.
That's not the case, though. I was under the impression that after seasons are over, it's going to be rolled into a regular character. You keep your progress.
Yes, but when the new season starts, if I want to take part in a season, I have to level up a person from 1 to 70, and it's because that's in games like this and in games like World of Warcraft, the 1 to 70 is the tutorial, and then the 70 is the game.
Right.
So I don't want to play through your tutorial
And
over and over and over again.
So you'd say start everyone at level 70, basically.
Start, or maybe make me do it once, right? Like if the first time I play seasons, I had to level up and get there. but then my character didn't believe, I'd be so much more into this, because then I would have a character that lets me get exclusive stuff, and lets me, play the game in a competitive sense when I wanted to, and then I would have a normal mode character that's just ridiculously badass in every way, right?
And to make matters worse, like it's like if you're like competitive player, once you're done with it, turns into normal character. Let's say like you're like 8 seasons in, and now you have like just 8 normal characters. You're probably never going to touch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, unless they happen to have ridiculously OP gear, and
Yeah, you'll like pick one of them.
Yeah, but
either
like
way,
it's-
you'll have just like this sort of trash pile. Of
Stash.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have like you'll eventually start like look at it from like a long term. Let's say 15 years, for instance. Like hypothetically, if Diablo's around, like it's
Diablo 4 comes out.
well, Diablo 2 is still running strong, so
No, I'm hoping
I don't
the last expansion for StarCraft 2 will be out by then, in 15 years.
Yeah.
Seems
Yeah.
reasonable. Anyway, sorry, you were saying, Justin?
But yeah, it's just like if you extend this to like a much longer run, it's just what am I gonna do with all these characters? It just I don't know. I like what Evan's saying. Just have, just like I don't know, just have it. Just I don't understand the 1 to 70.
It also makes me feel like my normal mode characters are now useless.
Yes.
To an
Right, because
extent,
now this progress means nothing for the most part, and the actual real game is something that I'm not experiencing, which I also really don't like. I don't know. I really don't like the way that they're going with this. I understand what they're trying to do, because at this point, a lot of people like me have gotten bored of Diablo because the grind is just too much. Right? And the only time that they're going to get me to come back now is when they release expansions, and then I level up, maybe grind a little bit, and get some more stuff. But they need to somehow get what they put in World of Warcraft, where every couple months they'll come out with new. I just answered my own question, because in World of Warcraft, every couple months they come out with new fucking content. And I think that's what Diablo needs to do instead of this, is come out, make me want to play this because there's new things for me to experience, because that's what makes Diablo get old. Maybe every 4 months come out with something new, like new loot or new. I know it's difficult, but I feel like that's what Diablo 3 needs, not wiping my characters.
This is probably not going to be the last patch, though, and they do come out with new loot. It's just going to be a lot more staggered. Like Reaper of Souls completely changed the game.
Yeah.
Right? And likewise, if they come up with another patch, Diablo 2, expansion, Diablo 2 only had Lord of Destruction. 3, maybe they'll keep going. So,
Yeah, and I honestly, I hope they do. I would be very, very sad.
but it would still take them a while.
Diablo 3 would be a huge wasted opportunity if they didn't expand on this game anymore.
Right.
Um,
Although 2.1 is sort of filling that gap because this new patch, because it's filling in all the holes Reaper of Souls introduced, and it's almost like another new free DLC with greater rifts and
Right.
whatever the fuck else that I can't remember.
But it's kind of heading into the wrong direction with what they want to accomplish with the competitive scene.
Right. That I think we're all in agreement with here.
Yeah,
But there was another thing that actually Greg commented on, that he was saying, because he was bringing up a point where a key component about seasons. I'm just going to read the text here. A key component
Sure.
about seasons would be that it resets the in-game economy back to the state of game release. It provides a fresh challenge for those that like the early game experience and feel like the current economy may have gone stagnant. So it's this idea where, as much as I can create a new Diablo 3 character right now, it's not. I'm not actually creating a new Diablo 3 character because I have a couple mil worth of gold sitting
Right.
in my stash that I can use to create
Right.
ridiculous gear.
Yeah.
So it means that you actually have to start at ground zero. There's no cheating to level up your character in this
Technically,
game,
it's the same thing with hardcore, but in hardcore you die, you're done. This is more so.
Yeah.
It's still softcore if you want to play that way, but it's one, it's competitive, and two, fresh start for the first time at least. No, wait, yeah, that makes sense.
Every season it would be. Every season it would
Within that season, yes.
Yeah.
So to an extent, that makes sense.
I still don't necessarily think that that's enough to get me to play the game.
No,
because-
definitely. Considering, when you hit Paragon 200, like Justin and I both have, you roll a fresh character, and instantly you've got max move speed, and you've got like triple your damage because hey, look, free points.
Yeah. or it's even just this idea where, I mean, the whole reason why I don't like playing MMO betas is that my character gets deleted at the end.
Right.
So
Oh yeah,
why,
we talked about this.
why is this any different, right? Like I don't like characters getting deleted. Stop doing that, games. I have progress. Let me keep it.
Greg was also talking about this. It was earlier in just an informal chat. He played Path of Exile, and he said Path of Exile did it right. I'm not sure if you played Seasons there, or if any of you guys did.
I played Path of Exile a little bit and then got kind of bored.
Okay, yeah, because he absolutely loved it, and he was saying how there's hardcore and then there's seasons. If your hardcore character dies, you don't lose everything. He switches to a softcore character, and you're taken off the leaderboard. That's it. You still get to keep your stuff. It's just no longer a sense of achievement. Likewise with seasons, if you go from season mode and the season ends, you just get a softcore character, and you can keep it if you wish. But you get that fresh start whenever you want. You get to be competitive whenever you want. And if you die or if you fail, whatever the requirement is, just go back to normal. Have fun. Rather than, let's delete everything.
I still feel like that's kind of getting into the issue that Andrew and Justin mentioned before, where you're just going to have like this garbage collection of normal characters, because the competitive people, all they're going to want to do is play hardcore and competitive, right?
Right.
The people who are going to play normal are just going to play normal.
Right.
If you're interested in something like hardcore, you're never going to go back to normal, right?
Kinda.
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, I'm sure that there's sometimes.
And also, I still don't really understand what you're being like graded on or assessed to evaluate where your standing is. Like,
doing
it
quests
doesn't.
or something.
Yeah, like doing it doesn't sound.
All right, here let's
Even despite the whole character like starting over thing, it doesn't sound like which goes back to the beginning of the discussion where it's just like who has the most time to play this game.
Right. You can't really get around that no matter what you do, because there's no real competitive element otherwise. Someone feel free to correct us all if we're wrong.
As far as I understand it, conquests are special season-only achievements that represent a variety of challenging goals. These goals can vary in terms of gameplay and difficulty, and some might be easier than others to complete, with tasks ranging from killing Mothra level 70 on Torment 6 to finishing Act 1 to 5 in an hour or less. Conquests are
does not sound
designed
pleasant at all.
to encourage and promote an array of different playstyles.
Yeah, so with this, what I'm reading here, it's just leaderboards will track progress of greater risk, seasonal achievement points, and seasonal conquests across a variety of game styles. Designed to be informative and detailed, leaderboards will allow you to compare your progress of that to your gameplay region, friends, clan members. And then there's a picture where it says like season hardcore, and then it says tier and time spent. So tier, I'm guessing, is level?
Probably.
And then time spent is just how long they've spent. But it doesn't time spent doesn't seem to be ordered in any way. It's literally just ordered on tier.
Which is just levels? Doesn't really say what tiers are.
Yeah.
Either way, it just seems to be like either level, Paragon level, or how many quests you complete, right? So but I can't even think of any way that this game could be anything other than just time spent. Because there's literally no other metric for Diablo. It's always just been, you spent X amount of time playing this game, so your character is better than mine.
Yeah, unless there's a skill-based element to it, either a time trial, a high score with like certain restrictions, or even if it's like Dota 2 or League of Legends, where like the skill-based thing is, are you now dead or not? Like,
you know what? If this was a PvP type thing, I'd totally be down for that.
Yeah.
Because it really needs a PvP mode to it. That was a huge thing in Diablo 2, and this game really does, I think, need that. That would really bring something to this game that it doesn't have. But I don't see. I honestly do not see the point in playing this. Gear will not make me want to level a character up to 70 and do this. Because I also don't even have max gear in the normal game, so.
Yeah.
See, that's why there was a game that Alex played a lot. I think it was called Splunky. And
Spelunky.
Spelunky. Yeah, there is that. So that game, that's what I'm leading to. There's basically, the regular traversing from A to B, and then there was an actual, one level that everyone had to play, but you could only play it once, and based on that performance is how you rank
Yeah.
in the leaderboards. So
It's a procedurally generated roguelike, but there's like a special mode where it's like this is
Oh.
the map of the day.
yeah,
Like I think every
Yeah.
day it's a new map and everyone
That's
plays
cool.
that. It's how far you get into it,
Yep.
or I forget exactly what. Because I always die in the first 6 seconds. But
If this game implemented something like that, but for your normal game characters,
Yeah.
I'd be unbelievably down. And then maybe
Yeah.
every single season, the top 5 players get item A, and then the next 10 players get item B, and after the season, it now becomes like a 0.1% drop or something. Like that's perfectly fine. That's absolutely fine. I would love that. I'd be totally down for that
Yeah.
because it creates competition in a game in a noticeable way.
and it's also even more incentive for you to loot, because now it's like, okay, how do I find my build so that halfway in I know what to change? Because it's like going into one of these levels, you'll have to bring as much equipment as you can with you, but you only have a small box. So it's like, say for instance, you're facing this boss, it's like, okay, I'm gonna use this equipment now, or
Yeah.
This
Like
just
you know,
feels
like in this boss, like there's like a certain point where he just DPSs everyone, so we need to have this amount of armor or
It's
something.
it's like
or
F1
healing
racing.
Like this. Yeah.
It's basically F1 racing.
the thing that annoys me so much about this is
Yeah,
that
everyone makes it. Sorry, continue.
the thing that annoys me so much about this is that they have it. They have a system that works in
Mhm.
World of Warcraft, and I
Right.
don't know why they're not using it.
Guys,
Because it feels like this was the first idea that they came up with, and nobody could come up with anything better, and then they
You
just
just never thought about it, yeah.
they just kind of went, oh, that's cool, let's do it, yeah, and it.
our podcast is just infamous for making companies richer if they listen to us.
Seriously. Man. Like, fuck.
If you're watching, tweet at Blizzard people.
Developers, if you have a game idea and you want to make it better, tweet at us at Casual Nerdcast or follow us on Facebook.
Or hire me.
Is this working?
Yeah.
It's not working, is it?
Maybe.
Evan, you don't have a job yet.
No, unfortunately, no. It's almost like the podcast goes up a couple days later than we record it.
Crap. Don't tell them that.
Anyways, so I think we're all pretty negative about this. Any positives at all that you can think of?
There's a
I
competitive
mean,
scene
it's a
now.
new patch.
There is actually some interesting stuff coming in this patch. Like they're adding in the ability so that you can apparently, I think it's this one, where you can actually jump into the portal that the treasure
goblins.
goblins make.
Yeah.
Goblins. It's gonna be fun.
So it's not only bad in this. It's just that's the main thing that they're focusing on.
Anything non-competitive with this patch is absolutely amazing. Demon hunters are getting buffed. Greater rifts add better incentives for you to actually try, doing better at rifts and doing them faster. Doing actual rifts is now not based on enemy kill but damage done.
Which is fantastic. About damn time.
Oh my god, all these and my armor set is getting boosts, so I'm pretty happy about that.
You mean every armor set except for Monk, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the
yeah.
patch isn't all bad, but just seasons could use a lot of tweaking. Like even if they just added something where it's like you do this quest and then you get this new currency which goes to this specific shop, which is fucking in WoW.
I think the reason they didn't, follow, maybe they wanted to give it a differentiation between Diablo and World of Warcraft. That's the only justification I really have for this.
Well, you know what? I want World of Warcraft to be good again, so...
You mean
Yeah, he's got a
Diablo?
point, dude.
You mean Diablo?
No, World of Warcraft.
Wait, what?
I'm not... I want to play that game again, but differently. Because I go back and play it, and I'm always disappointed. So close to pre-ordering Warlords of Draenor. So close.
You don't currently have an active subscription, do you?
I think I do, because I paid for like 6 months or something.
Oh.
So it
okay.
might still be active. But
Right.
anyways, I don't know. This might just be anyways, I think we've said all we need to say about this.
Not
Yeah.
good.
Anything else? Oh, there was that one thing that Andrew posted. we all get to.
Oh, we do have time for one more.
This is literally just gonna be a circle jerk. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
this is that's how it's gonna end.
Hashtag
Give me a
PC
mess.
Master Race. Blah
All
blah blah.
right,
Let's get on with it.
so according to analysts, 92% of PC game sales are digital.
The future is now.
Is anyone actually surprised?
No.
I
Not at all.
No, even just based on the number of PC games that come out versus console games, this just makes sense.
Yeah, kinda.
It's just
I don't know.
I think this article is more so saying that, you know, if there were physical copies versus digital copies, game
Yeah.
sales are now more so in the digital realm.
So when
is
I worked at EB, there was one point where all the lower people got to talk to the managers, and I asked a question on that conference call, and it was just like, hey, EB Game was getting redesigned in a big way, and I wanted to ask if they were going to implement maybe some PC hardware and stuff like that onto the shelves, and he goes, so you notice how small the PC wall is in comparison to our PS3 and Xbox 360 wall? Yeah, there's just no money in PC gaming anymore, so I don't think we're going to do that. And it was hilarious because I audibly heard a couple laughs on the other side of the phone. Going, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, what? So I think a big part of this is just how much brick and mortar stores dropped the ball.
Kinda.
Yeah.
They're just not aware, basically.
I 100% blame Steam. The rise of Steam has definitely affected this.
Well, I remember
And none
reading.
of us have a problem with it.
I think I remember reading somewhere. Let me see. No, it wasn't on this article.
What are you
that
looking for?
that I think around 40 to 50% of PC gamers would prefer. I think it was a large number. I'm not going to say a number. Ignore the numbers that I said. A large number of PC gamers would prefer buying their games physical, right? Like if they could get a large number of gamers would prefer buying their games physical. I was reading that somewhere. So I think that there still is a market for it. There's just nowhere to buy it.
Yeah, it's like when you go, it's like you go to Best Buy, Future Shop, or EB Games. It's like, you know, you see all these rows and rows of console games, and then you see a little rack that's just there, and it's just got like PC DVD games.
I
And they're not
mean,
even...
the only games that you can buy hard copy for PC are basically Blizzard games, right? I
Yep.
mean, when anything else comes out, I mean, even when Call of Duty comes out, EB Games will get 200 copies of PS3, 200 copies of Xbox 360, and 6 PC.
Yeah, because they know they're not going to sell them even.
But if they stocked accordingly, I definitely think they would. But they would have had to do that a while ago, right? Now at this point,
Right.
there's no way they're going to sell them.
Right.
But if for the past 5 years I could consistently walk into an EB Games and buy a PC game that I wanted, I think that'd still be a viable option.
Yeah, so basically, the rise of Steam is literally at the undoing of all the physical stores.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
So, like, basically, Steam has performed, you know, it is the giant it is today because all the physical stores just dropped the ball. And because, I've noticed this for a while now. It's not even just recently that PC games have literally just never been stocked as well. And, you know, me picking up a PC game, the last time I actually bought a PC game physically in a store was Company of Heroes 1.
Wow.
Which was like a long time ago. And
A fair few years ago, yeah.
yeah, and that was the last time I bought a physical PC game copy in a store. Now I get it shipped to me. Well, because that basically guarantees I'm gonna have stock. But anytime I walk into a store, I don't see anything. I remember seeing Nancy Drew or Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah,
and then,
we always got tons of those games.
oh yeah, and then we get
This card extended.
and then we get some Blizzard games. I think I remember seeing some Civ 5 in there.
Really?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen a physical Civ 5.
The big PC games always got stocked, the really big ones.
Yeah,
so,
exclusively PC games.
Well, I
Right,
mean,
right,
also,
right.
I'm sure that your Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to get stocked quite a bit.
Probably, yeah.
Assassin's Creed always got a couple.
I've never seen Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, me either, though.
I guess I've seen a lot, but I
Yeah, you work in the back
You
end,
work
so
there.
you've seen more than we
Yeah.
have. But like,
the big PC games always got a lot of stock, but I'd be interested to actually see how that's changed because I mean even this year, if I'm probably gonna buy World of Warcraft, if I do, I'm gonna pre-order it, right? Like I'm not gonna go to EB Games to buy it. Weird.
Right.
and now that BattleNet's been pushed to be more like a DRM,
Yeah.
just
And also
download it.
considering BattleNet's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That is true.
Even if you bought a physical disc, you'd take it, you'd install it, and you wouldn't even install it. You would register it to your account. You just throw it away.
I don't own a CD drive in my computer, so yeah, I would not install it.
You know what? I'll be right back. I need to show you guys something.
All right.
Oh, I'm really concerned.
But yeah, I don't know. BattleNet's really awesome, but I just
What is he looking for?
giant black dildo, giant
Uh,
black dildo, giant black dildo.
That's both a good and a bad thing, considering I was so excited for this. I didn't even
Right,
get
Black
I didn't even get a CD in this. Justin knows my pain. I waited for this. There was no CD inside. I kind of wanted it for the CD. That's sort of the downside.
And we
Makes
talked
it
about this.
cheaper.
We talked about this before, but I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people would prefer hard copy to a game.
Yeah.
Because when you have a hard copy of a game, you know that you, for the most part, you have that game forever, right? While with Steam, it
Kinda.
die one day. But we talked about that before.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to point that out. You were like, "Oh, look, you can get a game in CD key." I was like, "Nope, I must share this moment because I
Oh,
was
yeah,
sad."
No, I've opened up a ton of games like that. I remember I bought Darksiders 2 hard copy, and it was the exact same. I think it was like
Wow.
three CD keys inside because it was like a pre-order only edition. So I don't
Oh.
think you can get a non-pre-order edition of it.
If
And this was the PC one.
if we're in the mood of showing off game covers,
Oh,
Right.
this guy
All right. Anyways,
is buying Mass Effect. Psh.
all right. So, anyways, anything else you guys want to say about the PC game sales thing? Makes sense.
The numbers don't surprise me at all.
No, really.
They're pretty accurate to what I thought they would be.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't fit there because for the most part I've been pre-ordering all my games on a CD. So I'm the 10%.
8%
Or
now.
the 8%.
basically,
My
but
apologies.
yes.
I'm the 8%.
I'm all for digital. Like right now on my PlayStation 3 and my PS4, I have a hard copy of The Last of Us for the PS4. I have Evan's copy of Assassin's Creed 4, and that's it. Oh, I just got Tales of Exilia 2
Nice.
JRPG thing.
That's for PS3 though.
Yeah, that's for PS3. That's all I took. I was moving around a lot, and I was like, I don't want to carry these things around, and I just gave them to EB Games. Got like a penny for each thing. I was like, whatever. Physical stuff. I'm like, ugh, I don't need it anymore.
Kinda, yeah.
All right.
All right, so I think that wraps it up. If you've gone to this part of the podcast, thank you for watching and tolerating our, silly
Yeah, why?
behavior.
Why don't you put yourself through this?
Again,
Thank
I need
you
to keep pointing out. Stop chasing away the unicorns.
for the fans that do watch us. Thank you, and please continue supporting us. I believe Andrew, you posted an article on the website, correct?
Yeah, my goal I'm trying to have something up every week.
All right,
How to
yeah.
write an article.
So yeah, on the website there is definitely an article you should check out. Why we need a female Link in the next Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I like that one. 'Cause
So
I agree. in
feel
every way.
free to read that. If you have anything you want us to discuss at the podcast, whether it be games, as long as it's games related, feel free to tweet at us at the at Casual Nerdcast or find us on Facebook at, I believe it's facebook.com/nerdcast. You can see it at the beginning of the video. I'll also have the website links down in the description below. Please do subscribe if you haven't already.
Unicorns?
Helps us a lot. And thank you for watching.
We also accept questions on games like freeze tag, regular tag, hopscotch.
And everything
Red
in between.
Rover.
Any other modifications of tag you might have created that we've never heard of before? I'd be interested to hear about those too.
I also accept any challenges to hacky sack.
Hacky sack. How good are you at that?
Justin, side note,
I don't know. We'll find out.
Peace out, internet.
All right.
Bye.
Justin, side note, you basically had the ending down.
Right. Bye, internet. Thanks for watching.
Bye.